talking about the political landscape in Nigeria. Do we have an opposition party? Are they serious in taking power come 2027? What is their strategy? And this and more we'll discuss on today's episode. Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo was interviewed in Channels Television where he suggested that coalition is the only way that the opposition parties can take power from the Tinubu-led administration come 2027. Do you think that is the right strategy? Do you think it's a wise strategy? Do you think it will work? Let's listen to him.
All this opposition now coming together, because I see that you've left LP. You know, you've also you're no longer following Mr. Peter Obi. Yes. The last time I read that you had a meeting with Mr. Atiku. Tell me, what's your whole game plan for 2027, Ken?
My whole...
And I ask this because I know you are progressive.
Very correct. My whole game plan is simple. If the opposition is serious in wresting power from this incompetent and corrupt government, they must all come together and act like one. Because that was what APC did in 2013, and that was what helped them to wrest power 2015.
Okay, this is
now.
Where...
So where I am is I believe in coalition. And when I was leaving where I left, I said I am open to discussion with every group with a view to consolidating the opposition so that we can take out this government.
Okay, so you and I were in the arrangement of 2014.
No, I wasn't with you. In 2014, 2015.
Okay.
I was not part of the people that brought Buhari to power.
Okay,
it's
when you joined
2019.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
So some of us,
I worked for Jonathan 2014, 2015.
Okay.
That was when I aspired to be a member of the House of Reps under PDP.
Okay, good point. Now, but a lot of us were part of that movement, and this country even had that kind of clamor, and
sure.
For which the APC won and changed. My fear now is that, so it will seem, based on where we are today, that coalition was essentially just to get power.
Because I agree with you completely.
Because
where we are.
APC is now 8 years. My view is that look, the current president is the one that can sort it out. Hopefully, I am still open.
Yes, but you're still open.
I'm still open. But the problem that
you have to shield your heart.
Of course.
So in case,
I have a open mind, but of course I should. I'm definitely not going to be beaten the way I was, because I really believe that this country was going to change. That was the reason why I joined.
True.
Now, so I am worried that I hope it is not what happened that is going to happen again, which is just people coming together to take power. I think that we need to have, and this is what I'm pushing for. I don't think I have a lot of time left pushing for it, because people are already talking about 2027. But I think that we needed to have a national consensus that is beyond parties, that has nothing to do with our ethnic differences, regional differences, religious differences, some kind of developmental bargain to say that, look, regardless of who gets power, this is the kind of minimum that we must have in Nigeria. We must have a serious confrontation of poverty. Whichever party, we must deal with, we must agree on that. Number two, we must have a situation where there is the enforcement of rule of law, regardless of whatever party. We must fight poverty, and then we must fight corruption, regardless of party, ethnicity, and I was pushing for that kind of national consensus, but in the quest for us to, for people to knock out an incumbent, I'm afraid that this thing may be another repeat of what happened in 2015. Ken, tell me why you don't have that worry if you don't.
Right, let me see. Your fears are very, very germane. But let me start by saying that 2027 is one of the most complicated and complex time in the political history of Nigeria. Because we have this gentleman's agreement, 8 years in the south, 8 years in the north.
Yeah.
Now, 4-year term.
Yeah.
When an incumbent is not doing well, and in the midst of his tenure, it's a very difficult thing to change or to project what will happen.
Right.
Because would you say you want to get a fresh person from the south? The north will say, that means he will do another 8 years.
They'll be afraid.
They'll be scared.
Yeah.
And politicians are not very good in being trusted. Would you allow an incompetent government to continue just because you want to? Would you sacrifice the whole Nigeria just because you want to give an incumbent government to finish 8 years? Now, would you say let it go to north when it has just been 4 years in the south?
Right.
The south will say you're shortchanging us.
Yes.
So it's a very complicated thing.
I agree.
The best thing, if politicians were to be trusted, is to have a free, fair primary where every qualified person, whether south or north, will partake in it. And whoever will come out will agree to do 4 years, whether from the south or from the north.
Well, if he's from the north, why does
If
he
he
have to do 4
does
years?
no, if he does 4 years, he would have now it would have been shared between north and south for 4 years.
4 years, and then the
Then
next
it
one-
returns back to the south.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be
Then
8 years.
yes. Then if the southern person, if the fresh person
Right.
wins, he will do only 4 years to
and you go.
complete the Then it will go to the north where it will spend 8 years.
Yeah.
So if the north say no, we agree. This government is not doing well. It's not yet our turn, but we can do 4 years. That's if the person emerges
Yeah.
from the free
From the
fair.
primaries.
Because if you begin to regiment it and say you won't do primary, then it will be a selective thing, not a democratic thing.
You have to do primaries.
Very good. And then you can't say you're restricting it now to one side because each side has, equitable interest.
That's the problem. Ken.
It's really very problematic. And that's why I said everybody should come together and let people talk. It's something that can be discussed over. And let there be agreement. Who is who here that will agree to do 4 years? It's going to influence who I'm going to support. Because I still believe in equity and justice.
I believe, alongside with you in 2023 that the president had the option of actually showing real leadership.
Absolutely.
By picking a Christian. And
Not
I'm sorry, we're going to mention names. Dogara,
A lot.
Yeah, it's just
a lot.
one of the many
And then
clearly, advanced politicians that would have.
The first thing he said, which was an insult to Nathan Christians. No, you're talking about competence. When that one did not fly, he said it's a strategy to win.
Well, let's because of our time.
Do you know, Northern Christians, this is one of the very, very few opportunities they have to ever be at the presidency. Why am I saying that? When it is the turn of the North, they will say, you have to use a Muslim. When it's the turn of the South, you have to use a Christian to balance things.
Yeah.
So it is when you have that upset of a Muslim coming from the South that you would have the opportunity to produce a Christian coming from the North.
Yeah.
It was a missed opportunity.
Yeah. Well, and
unfortunately.
I'm sure that all of those things are going to sort out hopefully in our future. I wanted to ask,
Sure.
Hopefully,
When we
because,
begin to have untribalized human beings.
because we will stop talking,
Yes.
and it's good that people like you are also coming out very clearly, and you are taking taking the center, you are moving to the mainstream. It's these things are very important for.
Look at the person I am looking for. You've even actually mentioned it. A man who understands that he should not be corrupt. An experienced man. A man who is not a tribal bigot or religious bigot. So if I have such a man who will respect our diversity, who is not corrupt, then who has experience, because Nigeria is a complex place.
It is. It is.
You have to really have the experience of Nigeria, not of democracy. Then, I'm willing to go. I'm willing not to be so particular whether it is north or south, provided that justice is maintained. Then I am willing to take a look.
All right. Our time is fast spent. We will have to continue the conversation. But thank you so much for coming to Inside Sources, Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo.
All that Mr. Ken Okonkwo just said, do you think the personal interest that will be involved will make this coalition a success with the likes of Mr. El-Rufai, Mr. Atiku, and Mr. Peter Obi? And with different interest groups, do you think that this coalition will be a success? Please let me hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much, and see you in the